I wonder about that when I think about you and your career. And I mean, these days when you tour, of course, you're playing bigger venues. You play big venues, you play theaters, you play festivals. As a performer, do you ever miss playing the smaller places like that Maple Leaf Hotel in Timmins or even the Horseshoe here in Toronto that you played so much?
I do, actually, because I like those better because there was the intimacy that as soon as you get off the stage, you could, have a beer with the clientele and listen to their stories and talk to them and, be friends with them and until you had to go on the stage again. And so, and then when you come back to town, everybody knew you as one of their own.
Right.
So, I miss that, yeah.
Tom, you've said that you've seen this country blade of grass by blade of grass for the way you've traveled across it. What's the biggest change you've seen in Canada since you started out?
Well, I guess it's the growth of the population and each town, when I hitchhiked through and everything years ago, every town was unique. But today, you go into towns and, everybody has these malls and there's always a Walmart and a whatever the fast food chains, they're all in every town, so every town looks the same, and they've lost their uniqueness, and the old buildings and, the downtown areas are, they're kind of left to, disintegrate or something because all the business and everything now is in the new parts of town.
Yeah.
So it's the expansion and the corporations have moved in everywhere and taken over pretty much.
It's become a more homogenized country as you travel from one place to another, huh? It's just
yeah.
Is there anything positive that you see in the way Canada has changed? I mean, because I take you on that point. That makes that is something to lament in terms of the culture of each region becoming more and more the same in terms of the shopping malls, the strip malls, the corporations.
Yeah.
What about positive change?
Well, in what way?
I don't know. I'm asking you. Is there anything you like about Canada that's changed?
Well, I think Canada has grown up somewhat in terms of being aware of itself and proud of the things that it has accomplished, and we're becoming aware that we too have heroes like the Americans do, and I think that we need to honor them and be proud of them because that's what our kids are look up to, and before we didn't have a lot of that, although as the more mature you might say that we have become, the Americans are still, of course, that much more influenced upon us.
Right.
And so, is it a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, though, because I was going to ask you about the music industry. I mean, you're famous for taking that stand against the Americanization of the Canadian industry. You returned the Junos, and it was quite a bold stance. Do you feel as strongly about it today as you did back in the 70s when you returned those Juno Awards in protest?
I do, exactly, because they have asked me several times since to reconsider, and I've boldly said no, because unless they make some changes, I would like to see them become more, Canadianized in terms of, I don't like people leaving the country and coming back for a day for a Juno Award and then going away and waiting until they're in line to get another one before they come back. And, the brain drain, it's always been going on.
Mm.
And not only in the music business, but everywhere, as you know. And, I think there's not enough opportunity in Canada to keep our people here. Some of them you can't blame for going, but I think it's honorable to stay here if you're Canadian enough to stay here and fight the battle and, demand the opportunities that we deserve.
But, I mean, and you stayed and you have fought, but you've been fighting this battle for a long time. I mean, do you feel like it's still a fight worth fighting? Do you feel like you can make headway?
Well, when you get my age, I guess you get tired fighting after a while because they don't see any results. I mean, what can you do? I know that a lot of the people, they appreciate me for what I have been doing, but have doesn't seem to stir the people that could do something in the business. That's what's got to be, changed, and it's not happening.
I guess you talk about the fact that as the country grows, one of the things we do in our identity is identify and celebrate Canadian heroes more so. But oftentimes we equate Canadian heroes with people who are doing big business in other places in the world, right?
Yes, unfortunately, that's true. And, that's what I meant by if those people with whatever talent it is they have, whether it's in business or music or whatever, if they stayed in the country and broadcasted their talents to the world from here, from this springboard, then they would be known to be from here, and our own young people would realize that they have done it from here, and the rest of the world would know us as well. For example, to me, it's a kind of a shame that somebody like Anne Murray would be thought of by an awful lot of her fans as being American, right. Or anybody else from this country. All the actors and Lauren Greens and the singers and the different talent that we have from this country, because they're promoted in the United States, they're thought of around the world as being American.
Right.
And that doesn't do anything for our people at home.
I guess you got somebody like Neil Young that we're defiantly proud of, but he's also lives in the States, right? So
yeah, and his circles of business and everything are out of I understand Los Angeles or something. Yeah. He's in the Union down there, and he's I don't know much about the man, but he's a good talent and everything. But the Canadianism part, it's not like they feel about Stompin Tom. There's no other way to feel about Stompin Tom than Canadian.
Well, let me ask you about that. I know I've only got a couple minutes left with you here. So I mentioned you're on a Canadian postage stamp now. Congrats to that, sir. And that says something about just how this country feels about you and your importance to our culture. That must be satisfying for someone who's worked so hard to promote our own stories and songs, would you say?
That's one of the nicest things that can ever happen to a person, and I was overwhelmed about that. And I still am, as a matter of fact. I think it was a great thing, and it's a great thing that it would happen to anybody. And I don't know what can I say. It's something that a lot of people, if you stay in this country, and it's something to look forward to. These awards that you get, the Order of Canada. I just got my 50-year union pin. So many things. I just had 50 albums. I don't know if another Canadian has ever done it, especially one that stayed here. So I've crossed a lot of milestones that I don't think a lot of people have, and to be rewarded in this way is extraordinary.
Tom, it's such a great pleasure to speak to you. I imagine that when you play these upcoming shows in the next month or so, there'll be a lot of people there who've known you and your music for a long time, but also younger faces who are just getting to know Stompin Tom.
Some of these older people actually picked me up on the road and gave me a drive one time.
There you go. Well, long after you stop touring with your music, what do you want your music to be remembered for? What do you want the Stompin Tom legacy to be?
I just want people to be... if they learn my songs, they'll be singing about Canada, and to me, that's reward enough in that sense, because I would like people, and especially young people, to when they wake up in the morning, instead of whistling some tune about good old Nashville or good old somewhere Texas or something in the United States, that they maybe whistle a Sudbury Saturday Night or something, kind of unconsciously, and say to themselves, "Hey, we're actually whistling about Canada."
Tom, I thank you very much for this today. Have a great tour, huh?
I sure will, and thanks very much, John.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye for now.
There he is. That's Stompin Tom Connors on the line from his home in Wellington County, Ontario. Once again, he'll be performing in Thunder Bay on July 31st, then heading west for shows through August. He's up through Dryden, Winnipeg, Regina, Saskatoon, Red Deer, Calgary, Chilliwack, Vancouver, Vernon, Dawson Creek, Edmonton, Fort McMurray. You can, and these are his first shows in BC in 6 years. Check it out at stompintom.com for dates and tickets. We'll put a link to that, of course, from our website, cbc.ca/Q. And once again, Stompin Tom in Wellington County, Ontario this morning.